Home slices. What's it slicing? The things I like to say are crazy. What up, my people? First of all, I apologize for not going live for so long, but I'm making efforts in order to be a little bit more consistent, to be permanent as permanent as possible. Short McGee, what up, my guy? What up, my guy? Dude, are you always up? Because like I don't think there's ever been a time whereby I've went live and you were not on the stream. Like how are you always on the stream? are you are you always lurking on the channel somewhere? I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the stream. Game of games. Hello. You think Ruziboyev gets it done in the first round? I don't know, man. We'll get to Ruziboyev, but to be honest, maybe it's possible. I mean, the guy he's fighting hasn't really faced like decent competition, but I'll get to that. I just want to say, like, before I get started with the breakdowns, my apologies. But once again, we are live this coming Saturday. So I'm going to watch along the fight with you guys. I'm going to also do obviously the upstairs predictions. I work at a shop with the baby. I'm always okay. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm going to do upstairs predictions Friday, and then Saturday we're live streaming together. So without wasting any further time, let me get to it. Modestas Bakauskas versus Rafael Sequeira. My subscribers and I went with Modestas Bakauskas. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a little bit closer than how maybe I might feel. But before I even get started, the crazy part is this card was so incredible. I think it's still good, but it sucks that so many incredible fights were cancelled. I was looking forward to the original fights. Hopefully, they get made, especially the fight between Steve Garcia versus Edson Barboza, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope those fights end up being made because there are so many fights that have been cancelled that the card no longer looks like it was. Shoshat McGee, Parlay, dude, he is fighting blocks with his face. Dude is fighting blocks with his face. So who are you referring to? Modestas Bakauskas or Rafael Sequeira? So to be honest, I feel like this fight is gonna be close. For me personally, I tend to not place too much confidence in. Hi, my dude. I don't know how to speak Uzbekistanian. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. So maybe try to translate it if you can. So I think this is gonna be a little bit closer because I haven't seen enough from Modestas Bakauskas in order to be confident about anything. The Brazilian is bad. I mean, these Brazilians are can surprise us. I also felt that way about the Brazilian that was fighting. What's the guy's name? Um, on the Mackenzie Dern card, and then the guy actually ended up out wrestling him. So I mean, we need to put a little bit more respect on these guys because they actually make us eat our words. So in any case, I feel like I haven't seen enough from Modestas Bakauskas, even though I still feel like Modestas Bakauskas should actually get it done. It's gonna be a little bit tricky, in my opinion. Oh, on the feet and on the ground, I think Modestas Bakauskas should dominate, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say I'm confident in that. There aren't that many confident picks on this card, especially because so many fights have been shuffled around. So effectively, there are new fights and people who are coming in on short notice. So it's probably going to be a wild card of predictions. And a lot of the people that are on the card, I feel like are still building their names. And when I say building their names, I just mean that they haven't had that many fights in the UFC, except maybe when you get into the main card. But a lot of the people on this card like haven't actually had a lot of fights, so predicting these kind of fights is gonna be a little bit tricky, largely because there isn't a lot of information about this. But nonetheless, my subscribers and I went with Modestas Bakauskas. I think he should be better on the feet. He should be better on the ground, but there is honestly no guarantee of that because, um, like I said, I haven't seen enough from him to actually be confident in the fact that he's going to deliver. Had I seen significantly more, I think probably he would have been one of my locks. Um, so maybe if you feel like you're feeling lucky, who knows? But for me personally, I prefer to see a little bit more from a fighter before I can say they are my confident pick. So, but I think he should definitely win. I'd be a little bit surprised if he loses. So yeah, official pick Modestas Bakauskis. Let me respond to you guys before I bounce. Not before I bounce. Before I go to the next fight. Gamer of games. Yeah, we don't know the real level of Sequeira. This fight will show if it deserves to be in the UFC. Yeah, that's one of the things that makes me wary about this. But these kinds of fights, if someone hasn't had a lot of fights in the UFC, it makes me worry a little bit. I'm your brother from another mother because cuz is trash. Playboy. Okay. I mean, a lot of the upsets happen like that because people say this guy is trash or this guy is trash, and then they end up upsetting us. Um, I guess we'll see. If you feel confident in Sequeira, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. On to the next one. Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Eric McConnick, right? My subscribers and I went with Nursultan Ruziboyev. Um, I feel like, but look who he is fighting. I get you though. You know what? I'm still not sold on Nursultan Ruziboyev. I used to feel like he might have a lot of potential until I saw the fight between him and who was the other guy he was fighting. I think he cheated in that particular fight before he fought um, Buckley. He fought Buckley, right? So before he fought Buckley, there was this other guy that he was fighting, and he won via knockout. But I think there was an eye poke or something that some illegal action that actually happened in that particular fight. And in that particular fight, that's when I started to have doubts, right? And then he went on. Yes, welcome, Dweezy, Dweezy, my guy. Yes, it was Dumas. I said request Dumas. Ferreira Dumas. Yeah, I appreciate that. Sophie Simmons, I appreciate that. Tweezy, I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, my guy. So yeah, when he was fighting Cedrico Dumas, there was the performance was not great. He ended up getting a finish, but Cedrico Dumas was doing really well in that particular fight. So it made me question his abilities, right? And then after that, he went on to lose to Buckley. Buckley is significantly shorter, and I'm not taking away anything from Joaquin Buckley. He has proven so far that he deserves to be in the top 10, and I feel like he's probably going to be a contender pretty soon. So this me saying this does not necessarily mean that I'm I'm trashing Buckley or anything like that. But if you are as tall as Ruziboyev is, and you have the kind of skills that we know he has, I think he should have actually found a way to actually win that particular fight. He wasn't. I would assume that he would perform a little bit better. Yo, what's up, Gideon? I don't know that, but welcome to the stream. So I would expect him to perform a little bit better. when he's up a weight class. Like, for example, at 185, I should expect him to perform a little bit better because he's a taller guy, or rather, he's a tall guy. So, most likely, if he's up a weight class, he's able to build up his frame, and as a result, he's going to fight a little bit better. But he was having trouble against the Cedric Dumas at middleweight, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're struggling at middleweight and you're losing at welterweight, I mean, losing at welterweight makes sense, but if you're struggling even at middleweight, I mean, it makes me start to question you a little bit. So I don't know, man. Tweezy, what's Tweezy saying? I like that Boyev went back to 185 to help his takedown defense. Yeah, I honestly agree with that, but even at 185, I don't think he was performing that well to me, for me personally, right? This does not mean I'm not picking Ruziboyev because my subscribers and I are picking Nursultan Ruziboyev, but I'm not honestly confident, and it just feels like he's not like an elite fighter. He's probably going to be in the UFC for a certain period of time. There are a couple of guys that he might be able to beat, but I don't know if I see him becoming a top 10 contender. But I mean, middleweight is trash. You know, like some of the people who are ranked in that in the middleweight. For me personally, I don't feel like they're really talented fighters. In fact, the heavier divisions normally have trash fighters. That's why whenever people like Jilton Almeida come into the heavyweight division, even though he's significantly shorter, people like Daniel Cormier, even though the guy is short, they have success because you don't require a lot of skill at heavier weight classes. And if you are skilled, like for example Daniel Cormier, even if you are short, even if technically you should be fighting at middleweight or welterweight, you can still be successful at the light heavyweight and heavyweight because there isn't that much skill in that particular in those particular divisions, except maybe in the top five, or let me just say be generous and say maybe in the top seven. That's where a bit of talent is, but apart from that, there isn't much talent. But nonetheless, maybe he might be able to get to the top, but I'm not really sold. I think he's ranked number 68. I need to have my subscribers are really incredible at with statistics, so I need to create rankings for the channel. But for now, I'll use these ones. He's ranked, I think, number 68 around the world. His finishing rate is 94%. Whereas Eric McCormick is ranked number 5 in North America. Finishing rate about 78%. But I don't know about the kind of competition that he's been fighting because his previous opponents had, his last opponent was 28 and 20, which is terrible. The opponent before that was 10 and 4, not too bad. The previous opponent was 15 and 10, not great. 6 and 5, 5 and 7. So he's not fighting like decent competition. So even though I'm not high on Ruziboyev, I think based on the level of competition this guy has been fighting, most likely Ruziboyev might have a decent shot at beating this guy. But I'm not really sold on Ruziboyev, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's it on Ruziboyev. So I'm going to read your comments and go to the next one. Choshot McGee, back takedown defense, but has good hands and chin. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Health. Jan Bahovic is better than Yuri Prohaska. Okay, we'll see. Tuzi Rich Ruziboyev is overrated, but seems like he should win this. I agree. That I honestly agree with that assessment. I think he's overrated, but the guy is fighting. I mean, he has been fighting trash cans, so he should definitely win that one. Tuzi Rich, Shoshot McGee agreed. Tuzi Rich, McCormick's last opponent just dropped off the That's crazy. Well, not easy. Well, you and Rizla, you're not well behaved, guys. Like, anyway, on to the next one. Nikolai Veterenikov versus Austin Vanderford. I mean, like, this is a new fight. I think it replaces Fujit and Billy Goff or something like that. There's a fight that fell off. That's why I'm saying like this card just is a new card. It's not the card that was announced 2 weeks ago, whatever the case. Like the card as you're looking at it now is not what we saw 2 weeks ago. But this card is completely different from what we thought we were going to get. I know it's not the UFC's fault, but man, this card was supposed to be incredible. It had amazing fights. I'm honestly disappointed that it turned out like this, but it is what it is. So another problematic fight, another problematic another problematic fight. There isn't enough information on these particular fighters. I mean, I think Nikolai is a decent striker. Um, Austin Veterenikov, I think, has some level of advantage on the ground, but I don't feel like I've seen enough in order for me to be able to determine who is going to have a significant, who's going to have an advantage. Even my subscribers haven't had the opportunity to actually predict this particular fight. I'll try to add a little bit more information once I've analyzed the fight. So yeah, on this one, check the upsets predictions on Friday. That's when I'm going to be able to give you a prediction on this particular fight. But man, I don't know, man. Maybe Nikolai might win, but I need to look at this fight a little bit more and see who has a higher probability of actually getting this one done. So on to the next one. Before I move on, Tuesday Rich, I was thinking that Vanderford was the trash. Then I seen he beat Edwards, so obviously he's not bad. Also, he's fought Leon Edwards. I haven't done enough research, um, but I mean, how did he beat Leon Edwards? I mean, Nikolai is the pick. He's a dog. But I mean, I think I need to do a little bit more research. If Austin Vanderford has beaten Fabian Edwards, okay. I mean, okay, it's not that great, but I hear you. I understand. Um, I thought Leon Edwards. I was like, wow, that's flipping impressive. Okay, I'll do a little bit more research and then maybe come back on the upsets predictions and give you my honest opinion. On to the next one: Ricky Simone versus Javid Basharad. My subscribers and I went with Javid Basharad. Ah, another tricky fight. This fight I don't think has safe fights to be honest. Tweezy Ridge. He has a win over Gegard. LOL, not bad. Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying maybe I need to do a little bit more research. I mean, my research is a little bit different. I don't necessarily focus on what most people focus on, and somehow it actually ends up giving me good results. Anyway, so Ricky Simon versus Javid Basharad. I'm a little bit worried about this particular fight because I feel like a lot of people are underestimating Ricky Simon. Even though I've picked Javid Basharad, not necessarily excited about about the outcome of this particular fight because I think it's gonna be close. But I'm going to trust in Javid Basharad's takedown defense. If he can defend takedowns, which because I think this fight is going to be striker versus grappler, in my opinion. Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ricky Simone has a win over Merab Devalishvili. Am I wrong? I think so. But nonetheless, I think Ricky Simone's path to victory is going to be wrestling very clearly, and Javid Basharat's path to victory is going to be on the feet. So it's going to come down to whether or not Ricky Simon can actually take down Javid, and I don't think it's gonna be that easy because okay, let me not say that, but still, I feel like Javid should actually find a way to actually defend the takedowns. Yeah, but it was just cause of the gilly. Yeah, no, no, I remember. But even if it was like a tricky situation, the mere fact that he was able to compete with Marab, but obviously it's not the same Marab that's champion now. Um, the Marab that he faced, I'm sure, is significantly different than the Marab who's currently holding the belt. But yeah, I think this is going to be striker versus grappler. Um, I'm not very excited about this one because it also comes down to how relentless Ricky Simone is. But I mean, I've seen Ricky Simone wrestle. It's not impressive. But on the other hand, I mean, Marab is not necessarily impressive at wrestling. But because of the cardio, it changes everything, you know? So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But my subscribers and I are going with Javid Basharad. This is going to be a close fight, in my opinion. Whoever is able to implement their style is probably going to have a lot more success. I mean, I just said nothing there. It's like whoever is going to be able to wrestle will win. Whoever is able to strike is going to win. Okay, basically here, I think it's going to be 50-50 for me. It could go either way, but I feel like Javid is a little bit more well-rounded. I think he can defend the takedowns. So as a result, I think he should find a way to actually win. Nick Lane is a lock. Twizy Rich. Oh, okay. um, Nick Lane. I actually picked Nick Lane. Or oh no, I didn't pick Nick Lane. Anyway, so my subscribers and I are picking Javid Basharad. On to the next one. Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Nick Lane. My subscribers and I went with Mansoor Abdul Malik. Tricky fight. So on the feed, I don't know. I think Nick Lane is a little bit better defensively. Basharat will win rounds 2 and 3. You reckon? You don't think Ricky Simone's cardio is going to hold up? Maybe you're right. So here's the thing about Mansoor Abdul Malik, right, and Nick Lane. So Nick Lane, I mean, Mansoor Abdul Malik has the reach, in my opinion, has the power. MAM wins, but is overhyped. I also agree. Nah, I'm joking, but I think every single undefeated fighter has lost. Has lost makes me worry for Mansoor or almost every undefeated fighter at least. Oh, you mean because a lot of undefeated fighters have lost in the UFC? I mean, we still have Hamza. I don't want to count Bo Nickel because I feel like if he fights someone like Brandon Allen or Anthony Hernandez or who's this guy? Hermanson, I think he's gonna have a serious problem. So I don't want to count Bo Nickel too much, especially when he didn't have enough confidence to grapple with Paul Craig when Brandon Allen was able to do it. So that's not a good look for Bo Nickel. In any case, Twizzy Ridge. Oh, okay. This year. Okay, it's possible. Oh, you mean every? Okay. Basharat stops takedowns. I'm the second and oh, Basharat take stops takedowns in the second and fights like Yusuf for round 2 and 3 for the win. Okay, I hope so. Twizzy Rich, Fluffy would cook Bo in 5 rounds. I agree. Like he would break him. So back to Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Nick Lane. On the feed, I don't know. I know Mansoor is not necessarily known for his striking, but in all honesty, for me, I feel like Mansoor is going to be better offensively. I think Nick Lane is a little bit better defensively. I think it's a little bit harder to hit him. Whereas on the other hand, I think Mansoor is good at landing. He throws a decent volume of strikes. He has, I think, a little bit of the power advantage plus the reach. I think should give him some type of an advantage in terms of the striking. And then on the ground, let me see. Surprisingly, I think Nick Lane is going to be able to hold his own at the very least on the ground. I don't necessarily think Mansoor is going to just dominate this guy on the ground. So hopefully, but Mansoor has looked a little bit decent. He's looked really decent in his last fight. So I think even if the fight stays on the feet, I would see Mansoor actually having like proper success because on the ground I think it might be a bit tricky. It might not go the way people might think it's going to go. But in any case, my subscribers and I are going with Abdul Mansoor Abdul Malik. Uh, but I'm not very confident that this is going to be a tricky, close fight. But I think Mansoor has the better tools to actually get this one done. On to the next one, Andre Fili versus Malquizael Costa. My subscribers and I went with Andre Fili. Another tricky fight. Oh, this card is full of crazy fight. I don't think I'm going to even have like locks. You know, on this one, my mid-level confident picks last week. I think I had like mid-level confident locks, not locks, mid-level confident picks. Yeah, last week. I think I had four, and three of them actually got it done. But on this particular card, man, it's crazy that what's his name, Modestas Bakauskas looks like a lock right now. Modestas Bakauskas looks like the lock right now because these fights are so close, man. Like it's hard for me to even think that I'm going to actually get every single fight. There are cards that I feel very confident that I'm like, nah, this is gonna be easy work for me. But this card is so full of like elements that are like yeah, I mean Bakauskas looks like a lock based on what I'm looking at here. I mean, it's gonna be a bad night for a lot of people. And I'm gonna be live to take my L's. Hopefully I don't have any L's, but I do a lot of research for my picks. So but I'm not excited for this card because I feel like there's going to be a lot of wild outcomes from this particular card. Um, Let me see. Tweezy Rich, I think Costa gets it done. It's possible, man. Tweezy Rich, I don't like Felix Chin, and he can't grapple to win like he did versus Cub. I mean, he could. Shoshot McGee, Costa panics and always does the wrong stuff. I agree. And Tweezy, to be honest, I honestly disagree. I think Andre Fili has some type of a shot on the ground. Um, I think I think the difference, right? Costa shoots a lot more takedowns than Andre Fili, and then Costa attempts a lot of submissions. But as far as who, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but as far as who's the better wrestler, meaning who's probably going to have a little bit more success getting the other guy to the ground, I think it's going to be Andre Fili, to be honest. But on another hand, my main concern at this point is that in all honesty, I think Costa is a little bit more athletic than Andre Fili. That's the only thing I'm actually concerned about. I genuinely feel like what do you call him? Costa is a lot more athletic, but as far as technical wrestling skills, I think between Costa and Andre Fili, I'd go with Andre Fili as far as who has the technique. But because of the athletic abilities of Costa, the technique might not matter in this particular fight. But I think Andre Fili can actually wrestle Costa. The only problem is Costa attempts a lot of submissions, so it might and like he might end up in a bad situation and maybe get submitted. But I feel like Andre Fili is a decent is not necessarily the best wrestler, but between Costa and Fili, I'd honestly go with Andre Fili as far as technique goes. Costa is athletic, and a lot of people confuse athleticism with wrestling abilities, right? But you know what? Maybe I could be wrong. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm also not very confident about this particular fight. Like, on the feed, let me see. Uh, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, Feely has the reach. Feely has the power, in my opinion. Feely throws a lot of volume, but I mean, Costa is really good defensively. He's a bit more accurate than Philly. I don't know. On the feet is gonna be like evenly matched, even on the ground. Like I said, I think Andre Philly is the better wrestler. But as far when it comes to um, who is more scrappy, like scrambles and everything like that, who's probably going to find an unexpected submission, it's probably going to be Costa. So this is another fight whereby I feel like it's dead even. It's 50-50. I'm just going with Andre Fili because of the experience, because I feel like he's slightly better. Not by much, but I'm going to lean on Andre Fili's experience in order to get it done. This is a very close fight. It could go either way, to be honest. Before I move on to the next one, let me actually respond to you guys. Tweezy Ridge, I don't see him shooting this time. Okay, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Short McGee, Touchy Feely has underrated fight IQ. I honestly agree, man. I honestly agree. Tweezy Ridge, I like that Brito already fought Feely. Could help out Milky's camp. So, Costa trains with Joe Anderson Brito. I wasn't aware of that. That makes it even worse. Oh damn! MMA predictions, guys. Don't you want us to just let's go watch boxing, guys? Like I always get 100% when we predict boxing fights. Let's just watch boxing. I mean, MMA is just a whole different beast when it comes to predictions. Like, yeah, let's go watch boxing. Anyway, although he didn't fight him for long. Okay. Let's switch to boxing. Yeah, man. I think we should switch to boxing. I mean, MMA is fun as a viewer, but when you're predicting it, it's like because predictions require time, and when you invest time, it messes with your intelligence because you're like, so I invested hours into predicting these particular fights, and this is the outcome. Like, and with boxing, I'm always like above 80%. Like I average 80% to 100. Like I mean, it's easy for me to predict boxing. But I'm actually working on being full time on the channel. If that goes my way, I'm going to actually start doing boxing predictions actually, along with MMA. I obviously love MMA. I'm never going to stop predicting it, but I'm trying to add more content. I don't want it to be just predictions, but once I'm full time, I'm going to try and add a little bit of entertainment. Anyway, um, Andre Fili versus Costa, I think it's gonna be 50-50. I mean, flip a coin. I think you'll have a better shot. I'm at predicting this fight because I feel the skill level is even, but I'm worried because of the two. I think Costa is more athletic. Anyway, on to the next one. Ion Kutelaba versus Ibo Aslan. My subscribers and I went with Ibo Aslan. Hmm. You know what? Ion Kutelaba might not have the best fight IQ, but even new gym and looks huge. Ion talking about moving down to middleweight. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. That makes me a little bit more confident because I feel like Ian Kutalaba actually wrestled, I think, in his last fight, if not the fight before then, and he had a bit of success in the wrestling. So it's a little bit worrying, to be honest. But I think if the fight stays on the feet, if Ibo Aslan finds a way to actually keep the fight on the feet, I think Ibo Aslan is going to definitely win the fight. Um, I'm not too confident, but I think Ibo Aslan should actually win this particular fight. There isn't much to actually break down. I think if Ion Kutelaba wants to win, he needs to wrestle. Ibo Aslan needs to keep the fight on the feet because he will have a massive advantage. I wouldn't even be surprised if the fight ends in the first round because he is going to have a massive advantage. In all honesty, um, the only thing I see going for Ion Kutelaba is probably maybe his defense on the feet, the striking defense. But on the ground, I think Kutelaba might have a bit of an advantage, a slight advantage. But I mean, Aslan, I mean, he, I hopefully he can defend takedowns from Ion Kutelaba. But yeah, once again, I haven't seen enough from Ibo Aslan in order to be confident about his ability to actually take care of Kudelaba because Kudelaba wins and loses fights, so it might be his turn to win this time. So you never know. Um, Let me see. Twizy Ridge. Let me see. Let me see. Is Igbo at Tiger Muay Thai or am I wrong? Um, Short Maggie, yes. He should take the. He should take it then. Oh, a lot of people have confidence in Tiger Muay Thai. Um, but yeah, my subscribers and I are going with Ibo Aslan. Hopefully he can defend takedowns. If he can, I don't think this fight is going to go to the judges. Anyway, on to the next one. Alonzo Manifield versus Julius Walker. My subscribers went with Alonzo Manifield. I somehow went with Julius Walker. Walker is ranked number six in North America. He has a 100% finishing rate. His opponents have not been great, but it looks like he's trying to improve, man. His previous opponent is 20-11, not bad. The opponent before then is 7-5, terrible. The opponent before then is 6-1. That's not too terrible. Actually, it's pretty decent. And the opponent before then is 0-3, which is terrible. Before that, it's 3-5. So I mean, the last three opponents are not that bad, but as you go back, yeah, it gets really terrible. So I don't know. I just don't think Alonso Minifield is that good, man. I mean, he finishes fights, but it feels like he needs to finish the fight in the first round, or it becomes a problem. I mean, like his notable, that like the most memorable win that I can think of is when he beat, I mean, Jimmy Crude. Um, he beat Jimmy Crude, right? I think if I remember correctly, he beat Jimmy Crude. That's the win that I can remember. For me, it's not too impressive. When he was fighting Carlos Ulberg, he came in running, hoping to land a Hail Mary, and God made a highlight, basically. So I don't know, man. I'm going to lean towards the finisher, the younger guy. I know that what do you call it? Light heavyweight age doesn't matter that much. Um, yeah, thanks for that, Twizy. I know in light heavyweight age doesn't matter that much, and in fact, even in lower weight classes, um, older fighters have been able to win. I mean, not. I mean, for example, Jared Cannonier won, and he's 40 years old, which is. I should have actually done a prediction result. I apologize for that. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent. But Jared Cannonier actually won. Angela Hill won. They are both 40 years old, you know? So, but I feel like Angela Hill shouldn't have won that fight. But it is what it is. I think what do you call her? Souza won the second and third round, but maybe I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's that good. He's ever been that good. He's getting older. He's not gonna have the ability to explode as much or as often as he normally does, except in the first round. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going with Walker. Actually, I know, but I'm not very confident. Obviously, Alonso Manifold has UFC experience, so that's going to give him a massive advantage. But even with that, I'm not going to sit here and say I think he's going to win this particular fight. I'm going to go with Julius Walker. My subscribers see something in Alonso Manifold. I think the odds will reflect what I'm saying because I think Alonso Manifield is like minus 170 or something like that. He's the favorite, but at minus 170, especially when you consider the fact that this guy is debuting, you know? So that goes to show even the odds makers do not have that much confidence in Alonso Manifield. So honestly, I don't think he's going to win this fight. I could be wrong. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Um, so yeah, officially my subscribers went with Manifield. I went with Walker. Let me reply to you guys. Alonso is minus 240 now. Shit. Kind of wild. Sometimes the odds sometimes worry me, but I have faith in my prediction strategies. That's why you hardly see me change my predictions, even though like my predictions come out earlier than anyone, as far as I know, because they come out a week before. So, and even though they come out a week before, I never change my predictions because I know how hard I work. The amount of work that I put into my predictions, um, I have confidence in them. That's why they hardly ever change, even when I go live. You never hear me saying, "Oh my God!" After research, I changed my mind. No, I do research in order to be able to break down fights. I trust the process, even though the process lets me down sometimes. But I'm going to go with Julius Walker. So yeah, odds move fast. Yeah, I honestly agree with that. So I guess we'll see. On to the next one, Gene Silva versus Milsic Bagdasarian. My subscribers and I went with Gene Silva. Woo! This fight. We might see Gene Silva wrestling in this particular fight, to be honest. A lot of people, I think we are all high on Gene Silva, but I think we're forgetting that Milsic is also a decent fighter, which is kind of odd because a lot of people seem like they have forgotten that Milsic is actually a decent fighter, right? So on the feed, obviously Gene Silva has power, but technical striking plus reach goes to Milsic. To be honest, I think Gene Silva might have to grapple in this particular fight, but he has power, so maybe that might not be necessary. But I don't think this fight is going to be as easy as a lot of people think it is going to be. I could be wrong, but I said the same thing about his teammate, who's the guy who was fighting. What's Rufy, Mauricio Rufy. Yeah, I said the same thing when he was fighting. Who was Mauricio Rufy fighting? The guy who's really difficult to finish. Can you guys please remind who Mauricio Rufy was fighting? I think it was last year. A lot of people were like, Rufy is going to run through this guy. This guy is a trash can and all these type of things. And it actually ended up going to a decision. I think it'll look like Doba versus Gene. Yes, James on top. Yes, a lot of people were saying Rufy is going to run through James on top, and I remember telling people that this fight is probably not going to play out how people think it's going to play out. They are going to then say, "Oh my God, Gene Silva was fraud check." Whatever they say. I feel the same way about this particular fight. I could see this fight even going to a decision, to be honest. Um, I think this will determine how good Gene Silva is, because I think Milsic is a really decent fighter. And when we talk about technical striking, I think Milsic is a little bit better than Gene Silva, right? But I still feel like Gene Silva is probably going to win this fight. But like I said, with Rufy versus Lontop, a lot of people didn't believe me when I said this fight is probably going to end up going to a decision. People were calling me crazy in the comment section, and it went to a decision, right? I have the same feeling about this particular fight. It's going to be a lot harder for Gene Silva to actually win this one. I could be wrong. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm sticking with my gut. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight for Gene Silva, even though people like to think it might be. Obviously, he has the power. I mean, he can finish the fight early, but I'm going to go with it's gonna be most likely round two or round three finish, or probably highly likely it's going to be a decision, in my opinion. I don't think it's gonna be a finish. I don't think there's gonna be a finish. I could be wrong. We'll see. On to the next one, Rob Font versus Gene Matsumoto. I can't believe I did this, but my pick is Rob Font. Uh, I don't like picking older fighters, but I mean, they've been winning, these guys. I mean, I don't know what's happening. Since USADA left, like, these older fighters are just rejuvenate. These older fighters are rejuvenated, dog. Like, they are beating up these younger guys. So, Rob Font looked good in his previous fight. Fraud checked. What do you call him? I forgot. I think it's possible, man. As long as he can stop Gene, he should get pieced up. I honestly agree. I was coming to that actually because Rob Font is definitely going to outclass Gene Matsumoto on the feet, but on the ground, Uh, it's gonna be difficult, especially because I don't feel like Rob Font has great takedown defense. Um, I'm also worried about this particular fight. I mean, if Rob Font had decent takedown defense, I'd be a little bit more confident. I'd probably make Rob Font one of my locks if he was a little bit younger and if he could defend takedowns. But Rob Font has been taken down multiple times by different fighters, so that worries me a lot. But despite that, I feel like he has the ability to actually just win this fight and dominantly or decisively. So hopefully he's working on his takedown defense, and hopefully he can actually get this one done. Treasy Rich, man, as long as he can. Okay, Treasy Rich, I had Connor and Hill, so I gotta keep the streak going. The golden boys and golden girls. Let's go. So yeah, I'm worried about his takedown defense, but other than that, I think Rob Font is going to piece Matsumoto up. But we'll see. Unless he just rides him the whole entire fight. Um, On to the next one. Brandon Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. My subscribers and I went with Anthony Hernandez. Oh, let me see. Have I found my lock? Have I found? I think I found my lock, guys. Um, Let me see. Choose a rich. Trevor, I think Bowdsy and Du Bois winning in boxing. Um, yeah, I think I need to do actually boxing predictions, but I'm going to do them once I'm full time. Like it's too much. I don't know, man. I feel like Anthony Hernandez is so much better than Brandon Allen. I don't want to underestimate Brandon Allen, but I mean, I think Anthony Hernandez is just better, man. I've always felt like Brandon Allen was. He's not a top five fighter. I wouldn't go as far as saying he's overrated because I think he has decent skills, but it's not enough to actually compete in the top five, in my opinion, right? I think Hernandez is going to have the advantage wherever the fight goes, in my opinion. Unless Allen finds a knockout somehow, I don't think it's going to go his way. I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow Anthony Hernandez finds a way to actually finish Brandon Allen. In all honesty, out of all these fights, this is probably the only fight that I can say I feel a little bit confident about. Um, Bautista, he 50-45 him already. Crazy to think about. Oh, so Hernandez and Anthony, I mean Hernandez and Allen have actually fought before. That's interesting. But I feel like Anthony is going to just dominate this fight, man. It's not going to even be close. Um, I don't know. I think this is going to be one of my locks, to be honest. Oh, okay then. It just confirmed. I mean, Hernandez, in my opinion, has just improved ever since. So it's gonna be a very bad night for Brandon Allen. So yeah, sadly, Hernandez is my lock. I feel pretty proud of myself after picking him when everyone was calling me crazy. When Pereira, people were high on Pereira. Oh my God, are you crazy? It's going to destroy Hernandez, and then I saw people's eyes started getting teary when they were watching the fight, as Hernandez was busy ragdolling their guy. That was very satisfying. But yeah, I think Hernandez is really talented. He is actually a top five contender, you know. So yeah, I'm going with Hernandez, I think, is going to dominate. Diego Ramos, I think it's gonna be close. Brandon has a little better boxing and a better gas tank than Pereira. I get you. I get you, but it's not like Hernandez does not have cardio as well, right? Sure, I do agree that Allen has like decent boxing, but I still feel like Anthony also has like decent striking. It's not like he's going to be outclassed on the feet. Obviously, I also think that Allen has a decent ground game, so it's not gonna be that easy for him to be ragdolled. But I think Anthony is better, even if it's slightly, but slightly is enough. But I think Anthony is better almost everywhere. On to the next one: Henry Cejudo versus Yadong Song. Whew, another tricky fight. Another tricky fight. My subscribers went with Henry Cejudo. I went with Yadong Song. Ah, to be honest, this fight is 50-50. Quite literally. I'm not even exaggerating. There's a fight. There are a couple of fights whereby, as I was predicting the fights, it came down to it was literally 50-50. This is one of them. Like I didn't know what to do because like I I was at a point whereby I had to like there was a point where as I was predicting fights I thought I should just put my prediction in the middle and just say neutral because it's literally 50-50. This fight could go either way. I think Henry Cejudo coming off of retirement, age at the bantamweight is not necessarily a good look. But at the same time, he's lost to good fighters, elite fighters. He lost to Aljamain Sterling. He lost to Merab Devalishvili, both champions. So I mean, you can't, but again, shame him for that. You can't blame him for that. There's no shame in losing to Merab. There's no shame in losing to Aljamain Sterling. So ah man, I know that the Song can maybe defend takedowns, but I mean he was assaulted by Piotr Jan. That was an assault. Mars, yo, what up, man? Like he was assaulted, and it wasn't, it wasn't great. I mean, I picked Piotr Jan in that particular fight, but that was an assault, right? And obviously, there's no shame in losing to Piotr Jan, but still, man, like I expected a bit, like a more of a fight from him. I mean, I expected more of a fight from Yadong Song. I actually didn't want. Speaking of Yan, where is that guy? I don't actually know, man. I'm going to respond to your comments. I'm just finishing up this particular fight. So on the feed, I think it's going to be evenly matched. I think Henry Cejudo has decent striking. On the ground, obviously Henry Cejudo might actually even dominate. He might actually win this fight through grappling. So to be honest, the only reason I went with Yadong Song because in my analysis, this fight was literally 50-50. So I had to choose who I'm going with, and I went with the younger fighter, the fighter who isn't coming off of retirement. The because whoever is older is more prone to injuries. It's highly likely that Henry Cejudo popped a shoulder or something in training. So especially at lower weight classes, you see it happening a lot. Um, so man, I don't know, man. This is literally one of those fights whereby I can honestly say I don't know. Either one of them could win. But I'm going with the younger fighter who I feel like might have the ability to defend takedowns. Henry does not have he does not shoot that many takedowns. He might shoot a lot of takedowns, but I think he lost that ability with age and retirement, right? So he's not going to look like the same wrestler anymore. Um, so yeah, this is like going to be a really close fight. Um, I'm going to respond to your comments and then bounce. Sorry for the late stream. I'll see you guys Friday when I do the upsets predictions, and also don't forget we are live watching this fight. Watch along. So join me. Let me respond to your comment so that I can leave. Tweezy Rich, Alan guessing against Imavov in that third round made me think Alan can't grapple for 15 against Fluffy. Yeah, I also agree. It was odd. To me, it was odd because he was doing so well against Paul Craig. But at the same time, I mean, Paul Craig is not that great as well. I mean, he's good at submitting people, but I mean, he's not that great. Tweezy, that's actually a good point, man. That's actually really a good point. Maz, yo, welcome to the stream, my guy. Diego Ramos, I think Song takes it. Took Yan to a close decision, and it was a war. Yeah, I feel like I guess, but I think Yan was assaulting him, man. I don't think it was close. But you make a good point. I mean, he fought at the very least. I expected more from him, but yeah, Twizy Rich is just laughing, having the time of his life. Ma, speaking of Jan, where's that guy? Jan has a tendency of taking like long breaks in between fights, which is honestly odd. I don't know why he likes doing that, but he takes like significantly long breaks in between fights. Twizy Rich, he just beat Figgy. Who just beat Figgy? Are you sure? Song Yadong fought Figueiredo. I don't think you're speaking about Henry Cejudo, right? Twizy Rich, who are you referring to? Who beat Figueiredo? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Jan just beat Figueiredo. I actually forgot about that, which is crazy. I also picked him to actually beat Figueiredo, by the way. Um, but I mean, I think he should be a little bit more active. But I mean, he's been at the top, so and I'm sure he's making decent money. So the pressure to actually fight regularly is not there. Anyway, guys, I love and appreciate all of you. See you Friday for the Abscess predictions. And see you Saturday when I live stream the fights. Watch along, guys. It's not me showing you the fights. There are people who come onto the live stream and I'm like, yeah, we don't want to see you. We want to see the fights, guys. Like, MMA fans. Anyway, I love and appreciate all of you. Um, until next time, deuces.